video. Sorry that it's been so long since I've recorded. I've been pretty busy lately, but anyhow, so I wanted to make a video for the latest 5-star release, the Back in Black Spider-Man. The He was released about 2 weeks ago, maybe three by now. We had a lot happening since then. So in this video, I'm just going to first focus on uh, Spider-Man, and then I'm going to have another few videos to talk about some of the other updates. So he's a interesting 5-star character. Um, just to go over his basics, let's take a look at his cover. This is from the run that started right after the Civil War event in um, around 2008. And Aunt May was shot, and Spider-Man put on a black suit. That's not the symbiote costume. And he went around beating people up to try to get to the Kingpin. So that's the story behind this cover, and it wasn't really that good of a run. I wished that it was a symbiote black suit they chose, but anyhow, when Spider-Man's original costume was destroyed during the first Secret Wars, he adopted a new, sleeker black suit. When he discovered it was an alien symbiote taking him over, he abandoned it and returned to his classic webs. In rare dark times, when Peter was pushed past his breaking point by his enemies, he donned a replica of that black suit and uncharacteristically embraced his rage, showing villains that even Spider-Man isn't always so friendly. He is a blue, green, purple character. He has 43,529 health at max level. Now, I want to take note of his attack strength. He's got 639, 568, and 497. If you notice, Spider-Man's highest attack damage was 639. Old Man Logan, his highest attack is 624. So Spider-Man actually has the highest match damage, although not by much, but it's still something to keep in mind. So just using him for fighting, he's going to do more damage every turn than any other 5-star, ignoring his moves. Now his moves are not quite as good as the other 5-stars, so let's start with the top. His first move is a 6 blue AP move called Taekwondo. Spider-Man unleashes a vicious flurry of precision kicks and acrobatic flips, striking his enemies' weakest points. If Spider-Man is invisible, he deals 10,269 damage to the target. So that's a lot of damage to be doing for only 6 AP. Otherwise, he stuns the target for one turn and deals 5,223 damage. So that's not so great anymore. It's basically like a stronger version of the 4-star Spider-Man Miles Morales, but it's still a pretty good damaging move as long as Spider-Man's invisible. But it basically relies on the enemies being stunned to do that. So luckily, we've had quite a few characters released lately that can stun, including the upcoming release, Spider-Gwen. So that should help out a lot in making him more valuable. You can also use him with Miles Morales, the other Spider-Man, since he also has a stun. You can use him with Iceman, except Iceman's blue is a stun. The problem with using... So you can't really use him with Iceman to maximize the stun, unless you want to use Iceman's 4-turn stun first and then switch to the Taekwondo from Spider-Man. But, I mean, let's see. Iceman does 4-turn stun as opposed to 5,200 damage and 1-turn stun. So for the same amount of AP, 12 blue AP, you could deal 15,000 damage and do 1 turn of stun. So I think you're probably better off not using Iceman, even though he has more uh, of a length of stun. And if you're going to use the Spider-Gwen, she has yellow, red, and purple, but her purple is active and Spider-Man's purple is passive, so that actually might make a good team. So unfortunately, there's no other 5 stars that can stun yet. So again, Spider-Man has to be invisible, and he's only invisible when an enemy is stunned. So that kind of makes the bigger power boost of this move harder to get. Let's just look at that move though at lower damage levels. So at 4 covers, he's doing 9,000 and 4,000 damage, so it's not a huge drop in damage. It's only around 1,000 or so damage less per move. And he's got 8,000 and 2,800 um, otherwise. So overall, it's doing 3,000 less or so damage at 3 covers versus 5 when the enemy's stunned, and it's doing around 3,000 instead of 5,000 when the enemy's not stunned. So there's not a huge damage increase. I mean, I guess 3,000 is a pretty good damage increase, but still, uh, it's not a huge damage increase overall. I suppose when you consider the fact it's such a cheap move, then it might be viewed as big, but still not a huge benefit. But let's take a look at his other moves now. So you got his Automotive Artillery. So that costs 14 green AP. That's a lot of AP. Um, Spotting his target in the distance, Spider-Man grabs a nearby parked car and hurls a 2-ton fastball at his opponent. Deals 15,468 damage to the target enemy, ignoring the effects of any projectiles, and sends a random enemy for 4 turns. So first off, projectiles do not really exist in 5-star land yet, so not much use there. Um, a 4-turn stun is great. It makes him being more able to take advantage of his blue. 15,000 damage is a lot, but for 14 AP, not really. I suppose comparing it to his blue, you would get 15,000 damage if you were to use for 12 AP and you would have 1-turn stun. Um, but this is a random enemy you're stunning. So again, it's a lot of damage, but it's still not in 5-star land. It doesn't seem that impressive compared to, say, Old Man Logan or Jean Grey. Definitely better than Silver Surfer, though. Um, when you have only 4 in green, your damage is dropping around 3,000 or so. That's a pretty decent drop. It's now making it worse than a 5 blue. And if you're going to oops. And if you're going to have him only 3 green, he's still doing the same amount of damage. The only difference is an extra turn of stun. So 3 versus 4, not really much of a difference. Uh, I don't. I think that you're getting a lot more of a damage increase if you have 5 in blue over 5 in green. You're talking 3 something thousand damage more and 1 extra turn of stun. So not really that great, but his purple is a passive skill, Shadowy Acrobatics. Peter darts through the shadows, using his foe's confusion to disappear completely. Enemy strike tiles add 100% less damage, this is at 5 covers, to a minimum of 1. While at least 1 enemy is stunned, Spider-Man is invisible. So this is 2 separate powers that you have here. One of them is decreasing enemy strike tiles, and the other is that Spider-Man's invisible when an enemy is stunned. So he benefits from both blue and green. It's pretty good to be invisible because he's actually the only 5-star so far that doesn't have any healing mechanic. Old Man Logan heals every turn. If you have yellow, Silver Surfer has his blue healing move, which can restore a huge amount of health. Jean Grey Phoenix comes back to life after dying. Spider-Man has none of those. So it's important that he has his invisibility ability because otherwise he's just going to die so much faster than all the other 5 stars and not be so usable long term. I think that really in 5-star land, that's the biggest thing to consider, really, that you cannot use Spider-Man nearly as much for moving up the ladder, so to speak, as the other characters in 5-star land. Um, but let's just see the benefits of 5 versus 4 versus 3. So at 4 covers, he's only reducing the enemy strike tiles by 75%. And at 3 covers, he's only reducing them 65%. So 3 versus 4, not much of a difference. 4 versus 5, you're basically making strike tiles worthless. So if you're playing against Phoenix or Old Man Logan and you have 5 in purple, that's incredibly helpful. So I would suggest the best build for him would be having 5 in blue, 3 in green, and 5 in purple. This will allow you to maximize his utility in fighting characters such as Old Man Logan and Phoenix, and maximize the damage from his blue move. In terms of teammates that he goes well with, I think that, like I just said, Spider-Gwen will make a great teammate for him. Miles Morales will make a somewhat usable teammate, except you won't be able. Yeah, I guess actually you have 5 colors you can use. You'll have, since you have the passive purple for Black Suit Spider-Man, you can have the active purple for Miles Morales, and you can use the red for Miles to stun. So overall, it's still not an incredible team, but I guess in terms of other 5 stars I would use him with, I wouldn't really be using him with Phoenix because she has a purple, well, the purple doesn't matter, but she has a green that once she dies will be usable much better than the Spider-Man green. For Old Man Logan, he's got a perfect rainbow with Black Suit Spider-Man. So I think he's the obvious perfect teammate to go along in 5-star land. But let's see him in action. Black Suit Spider-Man performs in action. So our first goal should be to get either green or blue. Purple's just for match damage. Unfortunately, this is not such a good starting board. Okay, got some green. And some blue. And some more green. Taking a lot of damage. Okay, got 6 blue, but I want 12 to maximize the benefit. I should have made that green match. Oh well. Okay. Oh, come on. Just need one more green or one more blue match, and I'm good to go. Oh, and a recent change they made is you no longer kill an enemy and then stun them at the same time as killing them. So this move is much easier to get off now. Oh, come on, again? Give me a break. Well, anyhow, This game is now over. Oh, come on! Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous. Okay, well, anyhow, here we go. First things first, let's dish out. It's only 11,000, but through a car. Now I'm invisible. And as an invisible person, I'm going to use Taekwondo. Ooh, fancy moves. 10,000 damage. And let's do that again. So using blue twice in a row doesn't seem to make sense as much as saving it for green and using blue 2 times in a row afterwards. Um, okay, good to know, good to know. And I'm going to be invisible for just a little bit longer. And that's pretty much all there is to Black Suit Spider-Man. Obviously, he will do much better with another 5-star or even a 4-star that's meant to work with him, like Gwen Stacy. But overall, I'd say he's probably tied with Silver Surfer. He does more match damage and his moves do more damage, but he just doesn't have the staying power as the other 5-stars in terms of healing. So overall, like all 5-stars, he's good, but just not good enough. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed watching. Sorry again for not releasing videos so often lately, but stay tuned for some more.